fish a couple of times a week, that's valuable in that it replaces something else that's not going to be as calorie efficient, but it also has some other values as well.
And we're not talking surf and turf, right? So,
Right.
so you add the fish. We're not talking, I had to tell patient, we're not talking, and he was serious, fish sticks. I'm like, we're not talking fish sticks.
Yeah.
We're talking, regular fish. And, Dr. Phil, this kind of is my pet peeve. 20% of Americans eat fish once a week, 20%. 80% don't eat fish at all.
Really?
Really. They've done study after study. Most people don't eat fish. And, too bad we can't poll our listeners to say how many have eaten fish this week. It's going to be a very small number. And that's used to, people don't feel comfortable sometimes cooking fish, although there's so many choices nowadays. But what's great about it, as you pointed out, when you're replacing it with something else, it's fewer calories. So you're automatically going to lose weight. Most fish is 250 to 300 calories, based on its size. And then it has these powerful antioxidants. It has vitamins, it has minerals, magnesium, potassium, all the things that people want from a supplement pill, right? From that powder or pill or capsule. It's in whole foods. So that's always going to be a better choice. And people are fearful of cooking fish. And there's so many great recipes out there. That's what I really encourage people to consider. It'll make a big change.
Is there a fish to stay away from?
I get that a lot. And sometimes I feel like people ask that, as another excuse, like, oh, I can't eat fish. There's too much mercury. And there's some tuna and deep dwelling fish that may have a higher mercury content. But in general, it's as you referenced early on, it's about managing different types of risks. Having fish twice a week, you don't need to be concerned about too much mercury. You don't need to be concerned about other issues. That's going to be the healthier choice. And sometimes, Dr. Phil, it's about making the healthier choice to start off with. Not always the best choice, but a better choice. And fish is a better choice than red meat, processed meat.
How about shellfish like shrimp, crab, lobster?
Yeah, so they're still going to be a better choice. They're not as healthy as, say, a sea bass. But in general, they're healthier than meat. Some of them can have a higher sodium content than I'd like, but they're still going to be a better choice.
I eat sea bass, salmon, and tuna a lot.
3 excellent choices.
Those are my favorites.
3 excellent ones.
I really like sea bass.
So do I.
It's light. It's not fishy.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
I like how you say it's not fishy, because so many people will say to me, they don't like the smell of fish, that, what do we expect fish to do? It's always smell fishy, but I know what they meant. But it's those white fish too, the sea bass and some others that people haven't tried. A lot of times people think just of salmon. That's not the only choice out there. It's a great choice. But even, every now and then people ask me, what about tuna fish? Canned tuna fish in a pouch, still a better choice. High in protein, high in those healthy fats, low in carbs. Nobody eats tuna fish for lunch anymore. Did you have tuna fish for lunch? I had tuna fish sandwiches sometimes. Nobody eats that anymore. They're all eating lunch meat, which is not a good choice.
Yeah, not a good choice. All right, so if somebody changed what they're drinking, put fish in a couple of times a week, those would be 2 changes that would be substantial lifestyle pattern changes, right?
Substantial.
Okay, those would be big deals. They don't need to count calories. If they could just do those 2 things, those are lifestyle patterns that would be significant.
And I bet they will come back and say, these are tasty choices. I hear it time in. They say, I never knew how tasty, fish could be. Or, as we talked about, I told you I drank soda. If I went back to drinking regular soda nowadays, I would be like, this feels, as you said, gross, toxic. We change our attitude towards food, we change our lives.
And exercise-wise, if we can get people to exercise smart, they don't have to exercise, like I said, they don't have to be athletes. They don't have to go out and start wall climbing. But if they could do some fairly high-intensity interval training, if they could power walk, even 10 minutes a day, it would make a difference.
You got to start somewhere. And the challenge with exercise or, physical activity, it's to your point, it needs to be intentional. It needs to be structured. So often people will say to me, "Oh, Dr. Whyte, I'm active at work or I'm active at home." That doesn't always count.
It's got to be intentional.
That's right. So you've got to set that time that maybe you're going to go for a walk with your spouse. But to your point, you're going to do some power walking. So you're not going to chit chat, for 30 minutes. I have a lot of patients who'll be like, "I walk 10,000 steps a day. Why haven't I lost any weight?" I'm like, because you really haven't put any effort. You haven't made your heart rate go up a little higher. You reference high intensity interval training. It's not for everyone, but a lot of data shows that you go 10 minutes all out, that's just as good as a 60-minute workout. It's about finding those activities you enjoy. I gave a talk recently, I mentioned here at the Smithsonian, I showed a picture of exercise and swimming. And the reason why I put swimming is, for some reason, patients will always say to me, "Maybe I should try swimming, Dr. Whyte." And I'll be like, "Do you like swimming?" And they'll be like, "Not really, but I heard, I heard it's good for your joints." And I'll be like, swimming takes a lot of work. You got to usually drive somewhere. You got to change. You got to shower. You got to change and drive back. Do you have all that time? And they'll be like, "No." I'll be like, choose something that you want. Choose pickleball. A lot of people are into that right now. You and I have talked about that. My kids have tried that. So many options, but you need to have that intentional effort. And ideally, you try not to let more than 2 days go in between, because then you're really not doing it, right? You're not having that plan. Doing it once a week, that's okay to start. And starting somewhere is important. You don't have to go all out and be like, "I'm going to go, to the gym 5 days a week now." Start off at one day if that's what works for you. Do 10 minutes of power walking tomorrow. Do 5 push-ups a day to start. And I can't tell you how many patients I've had that couldn't do one push-up.
Yeah.
3 months, 6 months later, they're doing 25 in the morning, 25 at night. And you know what? They're proud about it. No one ever feels bad about being physically active. No one ever says, "Oh, I wish I didn't go to the gym. I wish I didn't go for a run." What do they say? "I feel great," because that releases those powerful endorphins. But you got to find time.
And choose something that you like. Like you said, if you ever see me running through neighborhood, you need to lasso the person behind me, because I'm not jogging, I'm escaping. And whoever's behind me is chasing me.
But you play tennis, right?
I do every day.
And you enjoy it.
And I enjoy that. But jogging, my knees don't like it. I don't like it
either.
It's not for me. But I'll go out and kill myself on the tennis court. And with stress tests and all, they say, get your heart rate to like 138 or 140 for 20 seconds 4 times during your workout, and that would be great. I wear the monitors and stuff, and I'll get it to that level for like 45 minutes during the workout. So I know I'm getting plenty.
Because you chose something
cardio,
that you enjoy and that is pleasurable. And we can't look at being active as, a chore, because then people aren't going to want to do it. And that's that mindset, and that's that accountability. Choose something that is reasonable that you can do and fit it in your time frame and your lifestyle. And there's so many choices nowadays.
Yeah.